the kindness and the goodness of the people, and someone said it's because the shape of the map of the country, its shape has something to do with its name, the smiling coast of Africa, something like that. But I testify to one of the two answers I got, which is definitely the people of the Gambia are good people. I have seen and I have testified. This is something that everyone is supposed to emulate. We are here all together as brothers and sisters in faith or in humanity. If you are a Muslim and I am a Muslim, you are my brother in faith or my sister in faith. If I'm a Muslim and you are not, you are my brother or sister in humanity. So I have to treat you well. I have to treat you well. It is absolutely important. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really to grant us good character and conduct. My brothers, my sisters, life is very temporary. And life is something that sometimes people give it so much value that in the process they lose their akhirah. We are here to worship Allah, we shall be returning to Allah. You prepare for your akhirah from this life and you walk towards achieving paradise from this dunya. كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every single soul shall taste death. We all shall be returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the best from among us are those who prepare for the day they shall be meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do you prepare? There are different ways of preparing the meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And obviously one of them is to have the consciousness of Allah, to have good character and conduct. And in several ways, giving out charity, reaching out to people, and doing all these good acts of worship and good deeds. And by this, you shall be preparing for returning and meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every one of us, when we are asked, do you want paradise? The answer we get, or the answer normally is, yes, I want paradise. But the question is, are you walking, are you preparing towards getting this paradise, or you are taking it as something that is an easy thing? Yes, it's easy to get Jannah. By the will of Allah, Allah is the most merciful. But we know Allah has rahmah, and then Allah has His punishment as well. We want the mercy of Allah, we don't want the anger or the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we walk and prepare towards returning to Allah, and we prepare towards having or being from those that will be admitted into paradise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us paradise. How many of us use the social media? How many of us use the social media? SubhanAllah, everyone uses the social media, myself included. You know, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, what else? WhatsApp, TikTok, definitely, I should have said TikTok first. Then recently something came up, Threads. So everyone is threading, right? SubhanAllah. But yes, all these things are here. We don't say don't use the social media. But it is important to know and to understand that through the social media you can be achieving your akhirah or working towards your paradise, or going the other way around, which is where we definitely don't want to go. So part of being or having good character is to ensure that these social media platforms that you have, whatever you post and whatever you send or upload, is within the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know my topic is falling in love with good character, but it is a broad topic. When you have character, you don't fear Allah, there is a problem. Yes, part of fearing Allah is to have the good character and conduct, but the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolutely important. We are Muslims. We love Allah, we love the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There are people who are non-Muslims, for example, and we have hope and we say, my brother, my sister, I want you to become a Muslim, but then if your own character is not good in a way that it inspires them to see the beauty of your deen, how do you want them to be convinced that Islam is indeed a beautiful religion, as you say? SubhanAllah. You see a non-Muslim, you abuse them, you swear them, you curse them, I don't want to have anything to do with them, I can't do business, I can't do this, I can't do that. But at the end of the day, you still want them to become a Muslim. So when they now become Muslims, are you still going to continue hating and abusing and swearing and cursing, or everything changes? And why don't you do it the good way from the beginning? Be good to one another, and indeed we shall be living in a world that is beautiful. So going back to the issue of the social networking platforms, wallahi, it's important we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we use these platforms, every time, these platforms, we know they are time consuming. You could be on a social media app for hours on end and you don't even know those hours have passed. You don't even know those hours have passed. But if you had taken a few minutes from those hours to engage in an act of worship or to engage in istighfar, then you would have utilized the time in a better way rather than engaging or wasting it on something that might not necessarily be good. Yes, if you have a social media platform and you post in good things and you post in things that are beneficial, that is different. But then, if you waste time engaging in haram things and engaging in things that would be a total waste of time, then that is a bigger problem. That is indeed a big problem. When we become addicted to these apps in the wrong way, it is a problem. People that are supposed to be responsible people, responsible brothers, responsible sisters, then you find someone on these apps that you don't even expect. And what they do are things that are unbelievable. Some of them are mothers, they have children. Sometimes you see the mother and the daughter, they're all doing the same thing, and they're uploading it, and they don't care. And the comments are there, people do, don't judge my heart, you cannot see my heart, don't judge me. That is a very, everyone knows this hadith, the top consciousness of Allah, you can't see it, so don't judge me. I'm not judging you, I'm just seeing what you do, and I am advising you out of the love I have for you. Would you be happy to come on the day of judgment, walking towards the doors of Jannah, or to be in Jannah, and then you realize that your friend is not there? وَيَوْمَ يَعَدُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي اتَّخَذْتُ مَعَ الرَّسُولِ سَبِيلًا. The verses of Surah Al-Fussilat that talks about friendship. The verse of Surah Al-Fussilat, وَيَوْمَ يَعَدُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يقول يا ويلتى ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا. لقد أضلني عن الذكر بعد إذ جاءني وكان الشيطان للإنسان خذولا. So you come on the day of judgment, or you come into Jannah, and then you are there, and you realize your friend is not there. Are you going to be happy about that? Is anyone going to be happy with that? So that is why it is important to ensure that we help one another and we remind one another of the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We remind one another and we help one another towards the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is true friendship. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us from His mercy. The character and conduct of a person is very important that we ensure that we have good character and conduct. We try our best to ensure that we give up every bad habit that we have. We give up every bad thing that we do out of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we don't want to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is displeased with us. We don't want to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knowing that we didn't do what we are supposed to be doing in this life. So my brothers, my sisters, let's walk towards our character and conduct. And let's walk towards the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's walk towards fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then following the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The modesty of a Muslim or of a person is absolutely important. The modesty of myself and yourselves is an important thing that we all have to work towards as well. As a Muslim that you are, a brother or a sister, what type of dressing do you have? What type of clothes do you wear? How do you carry yourself? What do people think of when they see you? It is absolutely important. كل المؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم ويحفظوا فروجهم ذلك أزكى لهم إن الله خبير بما يصنعون. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their private part. That is better for them. Indeed, Allah is acquainted with what they do. And the same for the females. Tell the believing females to lower their gaze and to guard their private parts. It is absolutely important because we've come to a time and era where people don't bother about how they dress. People don't bother about how they dress. And then you have children, and then you want your children also to be such that they carry themselves in a good way. But then right now you don't really carry yourself in a good way. What type of children do you want to have? Parents are supposed to be examples for their kids. Absolutely important. Am I right or wrong? Parents are supposed to be examples for their kids. Absolutely important. You see children, you see people that are good, carried in a proper way, well dressed, responsible, and this and that, and you admire them and you say you want to have kids like them. But then are you really serious about those statements that you make? I want to have a kid like this guy, or I want my kid to be like this guy, or I want my daughter to be like this girl. But are you really serious about those statements you make? Start off by changing yourself and your life and walk towards that in the best possible way. And Allah will bless you with kids that will be righteous. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. We pray and we ask Allah, oh Allah, هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين. Grant us spouses and offspring that will be the coolness of our eyes. وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. And make us example for the righteous. But are you working towards that? Look at your TikTok page. Look at how you dress. And I'm always surprised when I see how sometimes men become properly dressed and they cover everything and they cover places that are not even necessarily aura, but then the females sometimes don't care and they don't mind when they are the ones who are supposed to be totally covered. When I wear short sleeve, it doesn't become haram. When I wear a trouser that is not so long, and part of my leg is showing as a male, it doesn't become haram. But then you see males, they dress everything covered, mashallah. But then the females that are supposed to cover everything, then they are the ones who don't really mind. They want to show part of the hands, and they want to show part of the hair, and they want to show part of the dress, and they want to be recognized, and mashallah, you have a beautiful dress, and you have a beautiful this, and you have a beautiful that. If everyone is saying you are beautiful, but Allah is not happy about it, you are not beautiful. If everyone is saying you are beautiful, but Allah is not happy, then what type of beauty is that? إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أجسامكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. Allah doesn't look at. إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أجسامكم. Allah doesn't look at your shapes ولا إلى أموالكم or your wealth ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. But Allah looks at your hearts and your deeds. This is what Allah cares about. I read a verse where I said, Inna akramakum inda Allahi atqakum. The most noble in the sight of Allah from among you is the one who fears Allah the most. Taqwa is what determines who you are in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the most important thing. Not your car, not your dress, not the houses you have, not your followers on social media, not any of this. You may have thousands of followers or millions of followers, but if your relationship with Allah is poor, then there is a huge problem. If your relationship with Allah is poor, then there is a huge problem. Yesterday a brother was asking me, okay, I don't want to say exactly what he said because of one or two reasons, but I will say this. It's like, okay, what would a person do to become very close to Allah, or what would a person do to become very pious, or what would a person do to become this and that and so on. And then I told him, you see, obviously when people see someone who is doing da'wah and so on, and he has crazy followers, thousands, millions and so on, I want to be like this person, I want to be like that person, he's my role model, he's my this, he's my that. Yes, he has thousands of followers and millions of followers, and he calls people to Allah and does this and that. It is not about the followers. What if I come online, or I go to the masajid and I say, fear Allah, do this and do that and so on and so forth, but personally I don't do any of those. Is that possible or not? When I leave this place and I go to my house and I'm indoors, do you know what I do? Nobody knows. But yes, come to the masjid and you call people and you have followers and this. All I'm trying to say here is, Don't focus on this fame or this popularity or wealth or this and that. Have them or use them in the way that Allah would be pleased with you. But primarily work on your personal relationship and personal connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the most important thing. When I return to Allah, Allah is not going to ask me how many followers do you have on Instagram as someone who calls or does da'wah and so on. How many followers do you have on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram or YouTube, whatever it may be. It's me and Allah. Yes, all those platforms, if I had shared good things that I posted and people benefited, it is sadaqah jariyah, the reward keeps on multiplying after I return to Allah, but still my relationship with Allah primarily is very important. اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. Read your own book. Sufficient are you as a witness against your own self. Read your own book. Sufficient are you as a witness against your own self. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes and we all seek the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we make a mistake or when someone makes a mistake, it becomes our duty to correct the person and tell them, my brother, my sister, you made a mistake, but how do you correct them? Yes, you can correct with your hand, your mouth, or you can hate it in your heart. But it is important to correct. Is it important or not? Is it important to correct someone when they make a mistake? Is it? But how do you do it? In what manner do you correct the person? Nobody is perfect. We have kuffar, we memorize the Quran and do this. You come for salah, you could make a mistake. We read verses of the Quran, you could forget. I came here, I started my talk, I came and first of all, to start with, I have a cough that I'm struggling with. But out of the mercy of Allah, I was telling Sheikh Muhammad that I hope the cough doesn't catch me while I start talking or speaking. And alhamdulillah, I've been talking and I didn't cough. The same yesterday when I went for Friday, before I went, the same thing. And alhamdulillah, throughout, the cough didn't come. So that's why when I came, we noticed perhaps the forces, subhanallah, and whatever you might have noticed. Then as well, I read verses of Surah Al-Fussilat, verses talking about friendship. And I believe I mixed up the verses right or wrong. Or nobody noticed as well. Anyone noticed? MashaAllah. But nobody spoke. Okay, you can talk from there, subhanallah. I'm just trying to show you and myself that nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. We make mistakes. And that's why I said, even we have this verse, we learn and memorize the Quran. But subhanallah, you see someone who is a very great qari and they would make a mistake when they read salah and they would forget a verse or two. It is normal. Don't be ashamed of making a mistake. And don't be ashamed of taking corrections. When you make a mistake, that is what makes you a human. Am I making some sense? Don't be ashamed to accept that you made a mistake. That is what makes you a human. If you are arrogant and haughty, yes, I know primarily it is important when you correct someone and you want to tell them they made a mistake, it is important to do that in the best possible way. But it is important as well for them when you correct them in the best possible way, they should take or accept the mistake they made and they should improve their lives. And don't hide under the umbrella of don't judge my heart. No. We have to correct one another. How would I see you as a brother or sister and I love you for the sake of Allah and you've made a mistake and I don't correct you? What type of a friendship would that be? Or what type of a living would that be? Subhanallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen us, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us with iman. Arrogance is not part of the quality of a Muslim. لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. Right? قال إن الرجل يحب أن يكون ثوبه حسنا ونعله حسنة. قال إن الله جميل يحب الجمال. الكبر بطر الحق وغمط الناس. Whoever has an atom's worth, weight of arrogance will not enter paradise. That is what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said. Then the man said, man would love to ensure that his clothes is properly, is neat, properly arranged and so on, and his shoes as well. So if man does that, primarily the question is that also part of arrogance or what? Then, Inna Allah jamilun yuhibbul jamal. Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. Al-kibru batarul haddi wa ghamdun nas. Our pride is to reject the truth and to look down upon people. That is what pride is. You see the truth, you don't want to accept it. And you look down upon people, you feel that you are better than someone else. It is not part of the quality of a Muslim. It is not part of the quality of someone who is not a Muslim. It is not part of the quality or qualities of someone who is a responsible person. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen us. Another thing I'd like to talk about, and I remember when arrangements were being made for this event and the topic I'd like to talk about, I said I'd like to talk about just one topic. Who knows what the topic is, perhaps? I think I have 45 minutes. I don't know how much time I've spent. I have some recording here, but I think it stopped. So I'm out of track of the time. But yes, the topic is what? Who knows? I think nobody will know perhaps. So the topic is dating. Dating. SubhanAllah. You didn't expect that. And the topic is dating. Or this friendship of boy and girl and the haram relationship, whatever it may be. How many of us have boyfriends or girlfriends? SubhanAllah. Okay, how many of us have male friends or female friends? Okay, how many of us have male brothers and sisters in Islam? Everyone has that, but nobody has boyfriend and girlfriends.